I've just checked into another hotel after spending the whole day in the streets of London. It was pretty cold, and I went to like Westfield Shopping Mall. I walked around, and at one point, somebody approached me and he asked me if I could buy food for him. So I think this is something that actually every homeless person who are begging in the streets should do. Rather than asking for money, they should ask for food. So, and this is actually not the first time that I have obliged to that request. I have done it before. But this time, I think I got scammed. So this guy approached me. Out of so many people, he picked me out and he asked me if I could buy food for him. I'm like, sure, you know. And so he directed me to the food stalls in Westfield. And he, when he approached me, he told me that he wanted chicken. I'm like, okay. I was in my head, I was thinking that is quite specific. But yeah, it's normal that you can crave chicken. Why not? And then he directed me to a particular spot. And I was again in my head thinking, okay, he really knows what he wants, because we had to walk a bit to get to that stall. And we came there, and then I found out that it was like Korean barbecue. And because it was so specific, I asked him, like, so do you like this really? Like, is it really good? And he was like, well, I'm not really the right person to ask because I do care about the type of food that goes into my body. He gave me like a whole lecture about basically processed food and how bad all these fast foods are for your body and stuff, and how he did fasting for 40 days and 40 nights. And because of that, after that, then I think for 3 months you can eat whatever you want, because then your body's clean and stuff. Anyway, like a whole story, like a very lengthy story. He told me about fasting, the types of food that you should be eating, and how to clean your body to get to the next elevation of spirituality and stuff, like a lot of stuff. And then it was our turn to make the order, or to place our order, and then he placed his order. And this guy, seriously. So when it was time to pay, I looked at the till, and to my surprise, it was like £20. 20 fucking pounds. Even I wouldn't eat lunch for £20 in a shopping mall. So I was pretty shocked, and I wanted actually to buy something myself. But because I saw the price, I'm like, what? That can't be real. But it was real. I don't know what he ordered. And then he got the receipt. And instead of taking it, he told me a whole story about how he only eats after 6 and stuff. So he is going to wait until 6, and then he will pick it up. And this guy was walking with me, and in my head, oh my God, I hated myself. I seriously hated myself, and I felt so bad. I felt depressed at the moment, like I have so little, and this asshole just scammed me out of £20. I have nowhere to sleep. I am going from hotel to hotel. I am being oppressed, sabotaged by a group of racist white people who call themselves gangstalkers and are using Eastern Europeans, Indians, and other motherfuckers to harass me and sabotage my life while they enjoy how I am struggling to survive. And this guy just come around and scammed me. I wanted to cry at that point. And I went to the toilet because I was about to cry and I didn't want to cry in public. So I went to the toilet and the toilet was so disgusting, so I couldn't cry in the toilet. And then I started walking again. I didn't really know where to go. I just picked a tube station. I've worked everywhere in London, so I'm like, let me just go to Liverpool Street. I used to like it when I was working there, so. And then I went there and I went to Five Guys. I've never actually eaten there because I don't really like burgers and all these things. It's always so greasy, I don't really like it. But I'm like, let me try something else. Because the normal places that I like, I couldn't find it there. And so I went to Five Guys. And it was the same bill as this scammer, So I was already upset that I was spending so much money on stupid things that I don't even like. And oh my God, it was just an awful day. It was really awful. And the whole time I didn't know because I felt since yesterday evening, I've been feeling really sad and feeling hopeless because I just can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's like I'm stuck in this darkness. I don't know how to get out of it. And it really depresses me. It's like every day you wake up, but there is nothing to live for. That's the kind of mindset I'm currently in. There is nothing to live for, but every day I am being woken up again. The only thing when I was living with these horrible people, I was like, please God, do not let me die at horrible places. If my life would end there, I would hate it. But anyway, yeah, so that's the story. I got scammed today. And that man was an African. And he gave me so many red flags because I was looking at his hair. He had like an afro, so he's a black man. He scammed a black woman. A black man scammed a black woman who is in a worse position than he is. And it's actually a pretty good scam if you think about it because he scammed me in like 5-10 minutes. I would say that we were standing in the queue and he told me. So this is something that he does. He told me that the queue is normally not that long. So if he can scam a person within 5 to 10 minutes for £20, because I assume that's his hustle. So £20 in 5 minutes. And he will do that, let's say 8 hours a day. Yeah. So that is a lot of money that you are making, Like, seriously, every 10 minutes, you are earning £20. Some people earn £20 per hour if they are lucky. Cleaners earn, I don't know how much cleaners currently earn. Maybe 10, 20 also. But yeah. So I was thinking about it. This guy, if this is his hustle, he is making a lot of money, And the thing is, he has to find a particular group of people. And I guess black people will be his target because he's black. If he will ask a Caucasian, a white person, they will just brush him off. An Arab will brush him off. I believe an Asian will do the same thing. But black people, they will have sympathy for him. and especially black women, and especially if they are African, because he's African. So his fellow African will, his fellow black African female, like I was today, is his perfect target. And I, with my stupid head, was his perfect target because this guy is not hungry. You know, he had a thin face, but that's not a thin face because he's hungry. You know, he is just a scammer, an actual scammer. This is his hustle. That's how he makes his money, by telling people to buy him food, but he just collects the receipt. And then I believe at the end of the day, when I'm gone, he will go to the till and cash it in, say, I changed my mind, I don't want to order anymore, and then get the money that way. So, yeah, I was pretty upset. I could beat myself up for falling for that trick. For somebody who looked really neat. I mean, there are several levels of homelessness, and I believe I fall in the category of economical homeless. That means you have money, but you don't have anywhere to live. And then you have homeless, which are the people who are rough sleeping. And most of the time they have either mental health issues, drug addiction, or alcohol addiction, and that's the hardcore homelessness. But this man, he didn't fall in that category, so I do not believe that he's homeless, to be honest, because he looked really neat. His hair was like, he had an afro, like a very small afro, but still an afro. But it was neat. It was combed because I was looking at him. I'm like, wow, I even wanted to compliment him on his hair. I love afros of men, you know, and it was so neat, well done, like properly combed. And he had some bags with him, like as if he had done some shopping. His clothes looked neat, everything. He was well kept. So I just fell for it because he said that he was hungry, and I thought, like, I should help him. What if I was in that situation? I don't know if I would be begging people, but maybe if I ever end up in that situation, maybe one day somebody will also help me or whatever, or your loved one, This is always my thinking. If I help somebody in need, I feel like, what if it's your family member or a loved one? Or maybe if you end up in that situation, that you hope that somebody will also have sympathy for you. And due to that, I'm always a sucker for these things. So, yeah, if you have little and somebody scam you of the little that you have, it's very painful. And that was my day. It took forever to actually find a hotel because I didn't even know if I wanted a hotel. Like, I'm so upset how much money I have spent on just sleeping in hotels. Is ridiculous. It's just such a waste. And since October last year, 2023, since I gave up my apartment, I have not had a place to call home. And that is just eating me up. So, more than 1 year, I have been living out of suitcases. going from place to place, living in hotels, spending a lot of money, you know. If I would have gathered all that amount of cash that I've actually spent on hotels and just being economically homeless, I could have bought a house. I could easily have bought a house. It's just a waste. It's a waste, and I hate myself for it. Because that was just hard currency. I worked my ass off for that. Nobody gave it to me. I worked my ass off with racist people who abused me every day until I resigned. I don't know how much longer I can take this. It's getting more challenging every day. I'm looking for God, but I feel like God is nowhere to be found because these people are allowed to continue where the government, some psychotic stalker, or a racist KKK gang who are using other foreigners to do their dirty job. Only God knows. And I'm pleading my case with God, but I feel like God is nowhere to be found. It's even making me doubt. But then on the other hand, I have also had situations whereby I could literally count my blessings, like that I felt so blessed. This is just something that I've never experienced before in my life. That you can be innocent and persecuted for no reason. Just hate. As if I was born in the 16th century. But yeah, I'm not going to make this too long.